Hello, and welcome to the Army South News Update. I'm Major Ali Johnson. Army South recently conducted an active shooter exercise at our South headquarters on Joint Base San Antonio, Fort Sam Houston. This collaborative training effort involved Joint Base police officers, paramedics, firefighters, and other military law enforcement officials. The primary objective was to review current safety and security procedures and also to evaluate emergency responders. Active shooter training plays a key role in saving lives and educates participants on how to react and deal with potential threats.
You got to do something. You just can't sit there, because if you sit there, you're going to become a statistic. And one of those statistics isn't going to be a good one.
In our next story, we take you to El Salvador for a closer look at a Southern Command-sponsored joint humanitarian disaster relief training exercise, Fuerzas Aliadas Humanitarias. This annual event is facilitated by Army South. Specialist Vanessa Davila has more.
Drivers and passengers traveling on the Pan American Highway in El Salvador on May 12th had to cope with a major traffic jam. The rubbernecking was thanks to the second of 3 field training scenarios during the Army South planned FAHUM 2014 exercise in the Central American country. Cars couldn't help but slow down and look on as rescue units rushed to the scene of a very real-looking major highway accident. The simulated crash was the result of an earthquake aftershock. It involved a bus full of 25 students that collided with a vehicle transporting hazardous material.
Sometimes in this country we don't have enough resources to carry out this kind of exercise. The simulations we carry out are on a much smaller scale. This one has been very large. It's undeniable that we couldn't have done this without the resources provided by the United States.
The scenario players were able to improvise when it became apparent that the fire department could not arrive first on scene as intended. Instead, the National Police and the Armed Forces secured the area, allowing rescue units to begin treating victims.
It went well, despite committing errors. That gives us an idea of our shortcomings and weaknesses. It allows us in a real-world event not to commit those same errors. It was a good exercise.
Rescuers had triaged and evacuated all the victims in just over an hour. Reporting from El Salvador, I'm Specialist Vanessa Davila, U.S. Army South.
Known as the Wing Warriors, Army South's 228th Aviation Battalion from Honduras provides vital air support for numerous missions throughout Central America. Sergeant Robert Stevens from AFN Honduras tells us about one final CH-47 Delta Chinook mission.
Pilots and crew members from Bravo Company 228th Aviation Battalion embark on a sling load exercise from Soto Cano Air Base, Honduras. This type of exercise is common for the 228.
Well, our mission tempo here is pretty high. We're constantly on the go. I never have my whole company here at one time, so we're non-stop missions, flying across 32 countries in Central America.
What makes this time different is the fact that this will be one of the last times these CH-47 Deltas will be used by an active duty unit in the U.S. Army. These Chinooks have done more than their share of work.
47s are the oldest helicopters in the active fleet right now. They've been around since 1962. So they've been the workhorse of the Army for the last 50+ years.
Change comes soon when pilots from the 228 make the historic flight with these Chinooks back to the United States to give them a well-deserved retirement. The pilots will return after a period of training with brand new model CH-47 Foxes to replace the outdated models and continue on with the mission. Reporting from Soto Cano Air Base, I'm Army Sergeant Robert Stevens, AFN Honduras.
As time passes on, all gray soldiers must move forward in their career. Army South Headquarters and Headquarters Battalion soldiers are no different. Army South HHBN Commander Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Knight and outgoing HHBN Command Sergeant Major Lenice Thorpe recently exchanged goodbyes during a change of responsibility ceremony. Sergeant Major Thorpe handed off the battalion colors to the new incoming HHBN Command Sergeant Major Byron Starks.
I am dedicated to the health and welfare of you and your families, and I look forward to serving as your Battalion Command Sergeant Major, Spartans, Men's and Fraternity.
With the beginning of summer comes a new set of risks we need to all be concerned about. Army South Safety Officer, Mr. Ronald Lane, shares some important safety tips to help make everyone's summer more enjoyable.
Use that risk management process in everything you do, even if all you do is just think about it for a little bit and then put that to use. What are my hazards? What can I do about it? How can I control it? If you have a smaller boat, like a rowboat, just a couple of guys out fishing, a canoe, a kayak, you make a big wave, go by somebody fast and make a big wave, you're going to knock them over.
That's it for this edition of the Army South News Update. For more stories like these, be sure to check out our social media sites at the link below. I'm Major Ollie Johnson. Thanks for watching.